Alrighty, welcome back. So in the gym how generally you follow, progressive overload, whatnot, and keep increasing the weight and volume and reps and all that stuff to, get stronger, look better, whatever. But every now and then you need a deload week to kind of let your body just kind of reset and recover. Maybe even a little bit longer, 2 weeks, even a month. Kind of just reset the body so you can go again stronger, especially if you're in a rut or you can't break through that barrier. Why not just have a deload week for life and extend that outside of training? Because our lives are busy and there's so much going on and there's so much to do, and sometimes you can be working too hard and pushing too hard to try and, optimize. Why not just take a deload week and scale everything back for a week and allow yourself to mentally reset as well as physically? Because I think having the ability to turn your brain off and maybe not relax, but scale it back to allow yourself to set those systems in place that you've been working on and make that the new benchmark. So then when you're ready to go again, you fall to the level of your systems. So if you've got a system there that you've allowed yourself to set, sort of like concrete, you got to pour in all this stuff, and you've got to give it time to set before you can start, walking on it and whatnot. Same thing kind of applies. If you're always just improving, what you've achieved hasn't had a chance to become habit and hasn't had a chance to become, the new baseline, the new benchmark. And by adding just a week, even a couple more weeks, you can set those in place without adding anything new. And I find this is especially effective when you're doing something new or you've reshaped how you go about your day or whatever. So why not just apply a proven strategy in the gym to life? And I don't see why it's not effective. And I've just been sick for a week and had my first gym session in two full weeks today. And it just felt good to allow myself to, I was unwell. I was fucking in bed for like 3 days straight. But just to be able to forget everything and just reset, hit the reset button, hit the update button, if you will, and allow myself to change gears and go again and hit, the next, hit this next couple of months with, a fresh mind, fresh body, ready to go again. Because you see a lot of guys, they keep going and then they burn out and they have to stop, not out of choice, but because they have to, and all their systems break down and fall apart because they didn't set what they already had done. And look, I didn't get a whole lot done in the last couple of weeks. That's why I didn't upload. But the point is, I'm fresh now and I can feel myself, my mind is sharp. And prior to having that break, I could feel myself getting lazy and, dropping off a little bit. Not a lot, but just taking that 10% edge. When your max goes from 100% to 90%, it can be all the difference. And I feel like that is way more valuable than just kind of brute forcing, your work and your training and all that stuff. So if you're like me, there's always something, you feel like there's always something you can do, always optimizations you can make. You're always going, without ever giving yourself a chance to kind of just take a breath and chill out. That doesn't mean it's just an excuse to sit on your ass and be lazy. especially if you have the choice and you're physically able to do the things you normally would. But just scale things back, get rid of the fluff, and maybe like meditate for less time and kind of just allow yourself to reset. And I think you'll be amazed at how effective it actually can be to achieving your goals. Because you don't see all these big creators, whatever, doing work periods for years on end. They might go into, say like a season, they might work their ass off for winter and hit their next benchmark. Then they'll, kind of have a break from that intense work period and allow them to set that in place and reap the rewards and not drop below that they've just worked so hard for. And then, they might go again for a couple of months after having a month off. You're kind of in and out of, you hear the term monk mode, just kind of in and out of deep, intense work phases rather than just going constantly, because that will lead to burnout. And if it's, again, you're probably not at the point where you can do months on end of like intense work, and that's all right. Start it with a week, start it with 2, and just keep building up. Do a week on, a week off, and then 2 weeks on, a week off, and so on until you are at that point where you can do months and months and months. And I can confidently say it'll be the best thing you'll do. I say that all the time, but that's a lot of what I speak of. Things that make sense and genuinely can improve your life and how you improve your systems and how to improve your systems. Because if it works for me and other people, why wouldn't it work for you? Anyways, I think I'll wrap it up here, keep it short, but just try taking a break, taking some time to go and do the things that you enjoy and almost reap the rewards of your hard work. Not entirely, just hedonistic, sitting on your ass, but enjoy the fruits of your training in the gym and your improved work and all this stuff. Because too many people are focused about the next thing and not allowing themselves to enjoy what they've worked hard for. If you're still here at the end of the video, I love you, and remember, life is what you make it.